All right, what's up, everybody? We're back with another edition of Everyday Hoops. Hope you guys are having a good one. Today, we have another episode of the Look In series, a series where at the end of each team's season, I look at the team, recap their season, talk about the future, look at the state of the team, and all the stuff like that. Today's episode is on the Philadelphia 76ers. Got a lot to talk about with this team. Thank you guys for the views on the videos and the shorts recently. I really appreciate it. If you do like the content around here, consider subscribing, like, turn notifications, do all stuff like that. I'd really appreciate it. It really helps out a lot. Join the membership. If you want to learn more about the membership, there's a video on my channel explaining all of it. You can go back and watch that. Link to my Twitter, TikTok, stuff like that in the description down below. And yeah, don't waste any more of your time. Let's get right into it. So the Philadelphia 76ers this season. They finished the regular season 47-35, finished 7th in the East. They won the first playing game they faced off against the New York Knicks and lose in 6 games in the first round in what was an incredible first round series. Honestly, probably one of the better first round series we've seen. Like it was just an amazing first round series against the Knicks, and they eventually lose that. But yeah, coming into this season, I obviously had some high expectations. After last year's disappointing exit in the second round against the Boston Celtics, they had the James Harden incidents. They traded him early in the season. They brought in Nick Nurse. They had money available, and people were coming into the season. Honestly, I didn't really have high expectations for the Sixers. I honestly thought the Sixers were going to be kind of like around this spot, like a 6 or 7 seed. I think is why I predicted the Sixers to be. But early on in the season, they were one of the best teams in the league. I mean, they were a consistent top three team in the Eastern Conference for most of the season. Joel Embiid was on track to win his second MVP. Tyrese Maxey was playing amazing basketball, but Nick Nurse had the Sixers team looking really good and really different. And then Joel Embiid gets injured mid-January. Unfortunately, he rushes back from an injury kind of too quick, injures his knee, tore meniscus, and he misses a big chunk of the season. He doesn't come back till about like the last week and a half of the season. And at that point, the Sixers, who were a top three team in the East, slowly fell to being a playing team. Joel Embiid comes back. I think they win their last like 6 or 7 games of the regular season with Joel Embiid back. Then they win the playing game, and they get a matchup with the Knicks. And the Knicks series, it was a very close series. Again, it was one of the better first round series we've seen. Like really back and forth. Every game was competitive. Every game has some craziness going on with it. You know, but eventually the Sixers end up losing the series. Joel Embiid only played 39 games this season. He averaged 34, 11, and 5 with a steal and a block. Just an incredible regular season if he would have stayed healthy. But in the playoffs, I mean, you got to give credit to Embiid in the playoffs. Dealing with the knee, basically playing on one knee, and with the other situations going on with him. I mean, he gave you 33, 10, and 5, a steal and a block on 44, 33, 86 shooting splits. I mean, how many other people can do that? Really? Like that's just insane. And Tyrese Maxey as well. Tyrese Maxey had an incredible season. Coming into this season, we all knew with the James Harden situation and potentially him getting traded, we knew it was going to be a lot more on Tyrese Maxey's plate. And we expect him to get better, but I don't think anybody expected him to take this type of jump this early. Like maybe we expected this jump maybe like 2 or 3 years from now. I don't think anybody expected this season for Tyrese Maxey to play like this. Like he was incredible. Regular season, he averaged 26, 6 assists, a steal, yeah, shot 45, 37, 86 shooting splits, made the All-Star team, won most improved player. But then in the playoffs, man, that Knicks series was incredible. He averaged almost 30 points per game with 5 rebounds, almost 7 assists. He shot 47, 40, 89. Like, he was just absolutely incredible. That game 5 against the Knicks, where he put up 46, was incredible. Like, he's incredible, man. He is absolutely incredible. And him next to Joel Embiid is going to be amazing, you know? And yeah, the Sixers shouldn't really hold their heads too low on this season or on this series because, again, dealing with the circumstances of Joel Embiid missing all that time, it kind of forced him to be in a lower spot than what they actually were. And they gave the Knicks everything they had, just couldn't get it done. But you saw the title of the video. I don't think you should worry. At least I'm not worried about the 76ers team for the future. Now, usually when the 76ers lose, especially in this early of fashion, I mean, you look at my last year's looking video. I talk about how the Sixers, like, this could be the final year of Joel Embiid or anything like that, because I did not expect the Sixers to come in this season, Nick Nurse and Tyrese Maxey, to change this team this much, but they did. And yeah, honestly, I'm not really worried about the 76ers team for the future. Like, I don't think Sixers fans should be panicking or being like, oh my God, here we go again. Joel Embiid might ask for a trade, ooh, anything like that. Like, I think the Sixers are in a really good position. for the future. You know, they're gonna have a lot of cap space. Tyrese Maxey kind of turning into a star kind of expands the timeline a little bit more. Nick Nurse bringing in, and I love the way the Sixers played with Joel Embiid, with Nick Nurse there, making Joel Embiid more of a hub type player where he can score. His passing ability was on display, putting a bunch of good role players around him. Like, and with how the East is looking, how they played when Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey were healthy, I don't think Sixers fans should be worried. I think they should be kind of like, okay, I'm ready for next season. Ready to see what the future looks like, and I'm ready to see what the future looks like for Philly because I think things are gonna go all right over there. Now looking into the offseason, they do have their own first round pick this year, which currently is projected around 16. So they could get a nice little first round pick here. What do you get if you're that Sixers pick? Probably more shooting. I think maybe a guy like Jared McCain from Duke could be solid. Terrence Shannon Jr. from Illinois. I think it'd be good. Maybe even a Devin Carter from Providence for some more defense. But I think some shooting, putting around Joel Embiid would definitely work. Maybe even Jacoby Walter from Baylor if he's available at that spot. Could be something solid. I think some shooting around Joel Embiid would be nice. Or maybe even do you take a chance on a backup center, even though you do have Paul Reed? Do you take a chance on a Wes Messi from Baylor? Maybe just as a backup center, just in case Joel Embiid, you know? But I think some shooting on the wing would be the primary objective for the 76ers in the draft. They also are going to have a second round pick for the Bulls. That's projected around 41. So they can get some more shooting or maybe even get like a more young potential type player in the second round if you really want to. So I think the Sixers are going to have a solid draft there. And then free agency, which is a huge reason as to why I don't think you should worry about the 76ers. They're going to have $55 million in projected cap space. They have the second most cap space available in the offseason, which is very rare to say when you're talking about a playoff team. Next year, they're only going to have, right now, currently, they only have 4 players under contract for next season. That is Joel Embiid, Paul Reed, Ricky Council IV, and then Jeff Dowland has a team option. So right now they only have 4 players under contract. Everybody else is in free agency. Tyrese Maxey, of course, is main priority number 1. Restricted free agency, he's going to get paid his money, especially after the year he had. He's going to get paid his money. And then after that, it's kind of like free pickings for the 76ers. They're going to have money to throw around. Potentially, even though this free agency class is not, amazing, obviously don't have a lot of star players or something. The big one that's been linked to for the 76ers is Paul George. Depending on what happens with the Clippers over there, he does have a player option, and the Clippers have been trying to talk to an extension about him. And I would bet more on him going back to the Clippers than him going to the 76ers, but it's a possibility. The Sixers have been a team that's been talking and trying to go get potentially a third star to pair with Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey. They have the money to do it, and maybe getting a guy like Paul George could be, something good for them. Klay Thompson is also a free agent. I don't know how much money he's going to get, obviously, so I don't think, I don't think it's going to be so much to go get Klay Thompson, especially if he's still in free agency for a little while longer than expected. I even saw a report earlier this morning that's from Brian Windhorst saying the Sixers are expected to monitor Jimmy Butler's situation, trying to bring him back to Philadelphia. Jalen Butler's up for a 2-year extension. He wants a 2-year, $113 million extension for the Miami Heat. He's eligible for an extension this year. If that doesn't work out, which I assume it's going to work out, because Jimmy Butler loves to be in Miami, then maybe that could be an option. Looking at other guys, I think Paul George is probably the main guy. DeMar DeRozan is a free agent. He's the only other really star player in free agency this offseason. I don't know how much I love the fit of DeMar DeRozan with the 76ers. I think it'd be interesting, you know, having DeMar DeRozan kind of trying to work in the mid-range along with Joel Embiid. I don't know about the spacing there. But if you are worried about Joel Embiid's injury, DeMar DeRozan is a great guy to have in there because DeMar's going to come in. He's going to play. I mean, he led the league in minutes last year at 34 years old. So, he's going to be able to go out there and play. So maybe that could be an option. And then after that, you just surround even if you don't get that star player, I still like your chances because you still can surround yourself with really good role players. Because this free agency is a lot of role players in it, and you're gonna have money that you can outbid some other guys. Like looking at some of the free agents here, I think you bring back Kyle Lowry. He's not gonna warrant any money really. at this point, just staying home. I think Kyle Lowry you bring back. I think Kelly Oubre you bring back as well. He had a really good season. Buddy Hield, maybe. He did have that good playoff game, in game 6. So maybe you could bring Buddy Hield back. But then looking around the other role players you got, I mean, you could bring a guy like Gary Trent Jr. potentially for some, shooting, some explosive microwave scoring off the bench. Tyus Jones is a free agent. Maybe you want him. Let's see. Luke Kennard has a team option from the Grizzlies. If they decline that, I think that could be a guy you can go after. Nick Batum, I think maybe you could bring back as well. Alec Burks, who used to be a 76er, he'll be an unrestricted free agent. Royce O'Neal is going to be a free agent. Maybe you bring back Anthony Melton. Um, like there's some Miles Bridges potentially. If you want to go get that, if a third star doesn't come available, Miles Bridges is a 20-point scorer. Maybe you can flirt with the idea of that. Like the Sixers, I am excited for the 76ers free agency. I think they're going to be a team I'm really going to be looking at because they're the only really good team that has money to spend. And so they can afford to go out and maybe spend some money on some role players more than a team like the Celtics or a team like the Bucks can do, which could be a big advantage to them. And they also, again, can have the kind of, they could be the surprise team that can go get a star player, go get a Paul George, go get maybe if they want to go trade for a guy. They have money for it. So the Sixers are going to be a really interesting player in free agency. And yeah, if I'm the Sixers, I don't think you should worry. I don't think you should worry about the 76ers, man. I think they're in a good spot right now. And I'm going to be very, very excited and interested to see what their team looks like coming into next season. But yeah, it's going to be it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, if you enjoyed the content around here, consider subscribing, like, turn notifications, do all stuff like that. I'd really appreciate it. It really helps out a lot. My playlist is up here somewhere. If you missed any other look-in episodes, you can go back and watch those. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow.